Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beyond the Y podcast, your number one podcast for covering professional athletes who got their start at BYU. I'm your host, Garrison Williams. Want to give a shout out to everybody who gave us a listen in episode 1. We got a great episode number 2 coming for you here. This is actually going to be a 2-part episode, so be sure to catch both parts wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan of the podcast, be sure to give us a follow on our social media platforms. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook at Beyond the Y Pod. We've got some good content out there too, so appreciate all the support so far. Okay, for episode 2, we're going to be covering Tyler Allgeier, running back for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL right now. He is dynamic. He is just so fun to watch every time he gets on the field. And the fact that he got his start at BYU just makes me his absolute number one fan. So I'm really excited to get into it. For part 1 here, we're going to break down his 2025 NFL season. And then we'll talk about part 2, and you'll have to listen to that episode. So a little bit of an introduction to Tyler Allgeier. He played for BYU from 2018 to 2021. He actually spent the 2019 season as a linebacker for BYU. He recorded 26 combined tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 0.5 sacks. He actually made the switch back to running back in 2020. Again, they went 11-1 that season with him as their running back. And then in 2021, he co-led the NCAA with 23 rushing touchdowns, and he co-led with Rasheen Ali from Marshall. Also in 2021, he had one of my absolute favorite highlights that I've ever seen. One of my favorite plays that I've ever seen in football, both professional and college level. I believe it was week 3 versus Arizona State. Jaron Hall throws an interception late in the third quarter, and Tyler Allgeier chased the defender down and forced a fumble to turn the ball back over. Jaron Hall recovers the ball, and offense retains it. It was an absolute incredible play. It just really showcases Tyler Allgeier's athleticism and how amazing of a football player he is. So he declared for the draft after that and was drafted in the 5th round by Atlanta in 2022. In the 2022 season, he became the first Atlanta rookie running back since William Andrews in 1979 to rush for over 1,000 yards. So that's a pretty huge deal. 1,000-yard rusher in his rookie season. It was amazing to watch. If you ever go back and watch the highlights from Tyler Allgeier's 2022 season, it is fantastic. That guy's built different. And then, to my great dismay and disappointment, in 2023, Atlanta took Bijan Robinson out of Texas with the 8th overall pick. And look, I want to be clear here as we dive into Tyler Allgeier's statistics and just the whole content that's going to be this whole episode. I don't hate Bijan Robinson. Not at all, actually. I think what he and Tyler Allgeier have going in Atlanta is a really great running back dynamic. What was disappointing for me as a fan of Tyler Allgeier in this moment was the fact that he did put up 1,000 yards as a rookie, that he was having a lot of success, and they took a guy who undoubtedly is a star and has had a lot of production over his NFL career as well. So it definitely wasn't exactly what we wanted to see from Atlanta, but they have kind of a history of screwing over good players by drafting players that they don't need. So not surprising at all. Anyways, since then, Tyler Allgeier's been a running back 2. I toyed with the idea of calling him a running back 1B, but the reality of it is, and we're going to get into this a little bit, the reality of it is his statistics don't line up to Bijan's at all. I mean, he's RB2, and that's okay because he's dang good at it, and we're going to break it down. He catches quite a few passes out of the backfield. He's very dynamic. He's a hard runner and takes good care of the football. He's had 61 receptions on 4 seasons with 2 receiving touchdowns. So pretty dang good, especially considering 3 of those seasons are as a backup. So pretty dang good. So, for those of you who are new to the show, if you didn't listen to episode 1, we do a little bit of a grading system for each player's 2025 season breakdown. And we break down a variety of things here. There's 5 categories. So first category is production relative to role, which is more of a statistical look on their 2025 season. Category number 2 is role execution. How well do they fill that role that they're in? Number 3 is consistency. Number 4 is team impact. How much does this team value this player? How much do they need him? And then number 5 is future outlook. So jumping right into Tyler Allgeier's grade, we're going to start at category number 1, his production relative to his role. So overall statistics. Guys, you should see the notes that I have here sitting in front of me on Tyler Allgeier's statistics over the course of just this season alone. He is... I really struggled with this because I had to define in my mind, I guess, what Tyler's role is for the Falcons and how these statistics matched up to somebody in that role. To start out, let's set the stage a little bit here. A lot of these statistics, I'm going to compare him to Bijan Robinson just because I want you guys to see the comparison of running back 2 to a Pro Bowl running back, a generational talent, somebody who's carrying the league in yards from scrimmage. He actually leads the league in yards from scrimmage and who is doing big things out there. And then looking at Tyler Allgeier as running back 2. So a lot of my statistical comparisons are going to be relative to Bijan Robinson and his statistics as well. So to look at it, Tyler Allgeier played in 30% of the offensive snaps, and Robinson played in 79% of Atlanta's offensive snaps just this season. So we're just over a third. I believe it's like 38%-ish. The specific numbers on it are Tyler Allgeier had 328 offensive snaps to Bijan Robinson's 860, which is 38.14%. So consider that as we go along here, the quantity of snap counts, how much does the fact that Tyler Allgeier is getting the ball, how much does that matter in terms of statistical production here? So I'll be the first to admit here, looking at the statistics in comparison to Robinson, he's second in almost every category. He has about half the rushing attempts, a third of the rushing yards. He is averaging, or he put up 3.6 yards per attempt, which is pretty dang good. He led the team in rushing touchdowns, which is really impressive. He had 8 rushing touchdowns. Bijan had 7. However, he didn't have a receiving touchdown, and then Bijan had 4 receiving touchdowns. Obviously, he's the starter. They rely on him in really crucial situations. But all that to say, they rely on Tyler as well in those crucial situations. A lot of his yardage is short down yardage situations because, guys, this is a wrecking ball on the field. Tyler Allgeier is a wrecking ball. If you look at highlights of his from BYU and from his time in the NFL as well, every time he touches the ball, he is dominant. He is physical. He doesn't avoid contact. In fact, he probably seeks it out and has some incredible, just absolute bowling ball, wrecking ball highlights that really set him over the top as far as what his role is here. So, yeah, 3.6 yards per attempt, not the greatest statistic in the world. However, understanding that they use him in short yardage situations, that he led the team in rushing touchdowns, that's pretty dang impressive. And like I said, Bijan is going to be your back as far as receiving goes. We see Tyler take kind of a little bit of a backseat. Not a little bit. He definitely takes a backseat as far as receiving goes for Atlanta. He had 16 targets. Bijan had 103. He had 14 receptions to Bijan's 79, 96 yards to Bijan's 820, and then no touchdowns. He averaged 0.8 receptions per game, and then Bijan had 4.6. So he's just used way less as far as the receiving game goes, and that's to be expected. He fills this role of consistent player who gets on the field, and like I said, we'll get a bit more into the consistency and the role execution and everything like that. As far as statistics go, in my mind, there are there's a couple of ways of thinking about it. And the reason why I'm having a hard time, I guess, articulating this is because I thought about this for a long time. And I want you guys to understand that Tyler Allgeier is, in my mind, potentially one of the best, if not the best, backup running back in the NFL. And when it comes to statistics, yes, I wish his statistics were better. I do. That in my mind, that's what puts him ahead of that 9.0, that blow my socks off level, would be to be competing statistically with your starter running back, even though you're the second back. And in a lot of categories, he did. Again, I go back to that rushing touchdowns category. That's a big deal. To have one more rushing touchdown than your all-pro, than your Pro Bowl starter, I mean, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. So I really struggled with this grade. I wanted to put him in that kind of 9.0 category, but for production, I'm going to give Tyler Allgeier an 8.9. This is the best a running back or any player can get without literally blowing my socks off, blowing my mind out of the water, just really overall impressing me. I'd say he almost blew my socks off in this category. Like I said, if his statistics were a little bit better, and that's not his fault necessarily, but overall grading this season, if his statistics were a little bit better, I think it would blow my socks off because of what he's able to accomplish and what we've seen him accomplish already. It's a big deal. So we go into role execution, though. Again, potentially the best backup running back in the NFL. I'd be curious if you guys have other backup running backs that you think are better than he is. I'd love to hear them. Post them on the comments wherever you're listening to this podcast. I want to hear what you got. This guy, every time he touches the ball, he looks like a boulder tumbling down a mountain. I don't know if you've ever stood at the top of a big hill. The guys know what I'm talking about. And taken big rocks and just rolled it down the mountain. Tyler Allgeier looks like that on a flat football field going up against 11 defenders. I mean, this guy is insane. He's everything that you'd want at a running back 2 position. And in my opinion, I'm going to hammer this a lot, he has all of the capabilities to be your first string running back. All of the capabilities. And if he were to go to a team that put him in that role, he'd be highly successful. So as far as role execution goes, no complaints. No complaints. He's just in Bijan's shadow. And again, I don't dislike Bijan, and I don't negate the success that he's had because, again, Bijan Robinson is amazing. I don't think what Atlanta's doing is wrong. I think drafting him was a sucky choice. Obviously, I think they should have taken our boy Puka Nacua because he was the steal of that draft. But overall, I don't have any complaints on Tyler Allgeier's 2025 season as far as role execution goes because he's been like that. He's been like that from 2023, 2024, and last season. And wherever he ends up this next season, he's going to dominate no matter what that role is. So hopefully he gets that running back 1 position. But so role execution, I'm going to give him a 9.5. He's blown my socks off. This is the first over 9.0 grade that a player has gotten on this show so far, and I think it's well-deserved. He is incredible at his position, and in my opinion, the best running back 2 in the league. So, all right, category number 3, consistency. This is a very consistent player. He was very consistent at BYU. He had a few fumbles in some key moments, I'll admit that. And they were disappointing moments. He addressed those. And off the top of your head, I want you to think to yourself right now, how many fumbles does Tyler Allgeier have in the NFL? Oh, Garrison, surely he's been playing for 4 seasons now, and he's had at least 1 or 2 fumbles. He has had 0 fumbles in the NFL. 0. None. He has not fumbled the ball 1 time. This is a consistent player. He had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie. He has 20 total touchdowns in 4 seasons. That's 2 receiving touchdowns and 18 rushing touchdowns. He doesn't turn the ball over. I'd like to see him make more out of his opportunities sometimes because I think that's a big... For the Tyler Allgeier haters, I think that's their criticism of him. Not that I didn't think anybody really hates him that much. He's an objectively likable player, if you ask me, because I'm definitely not biased. He The biggest criticism that could be made of Tyler Allgeier is that he's not as explosive as Bijan, and for sure he's maybe not quite as explosive in his current role as Bijan Robinson is. So as far as consistency goes, he has a couple of games where he really goes off in statistics and in performance, and then he has other games where he's very consistent and kind of in that running back 2 numbers, which again fits his role super well. But I think that would put this a little bit higher for me. However, still, as far as consistency goes, my socks blown off. He's got 9.0 for me as far as consistency goes. Yes, I think he's earned it. He takes care of that football, and what more could you want in a backup running back? You hand the ball off to that guy, you want him to go take some hits, make some plays, and score some touchdowns. And that's what Tyler Allgeier does. So 9.0 for him in consistency. Team impact. Okay, here's where his grade drops a little bit for me. And my articulation for that is, in my mind, there's a difference between team impact and team value. How much do I feel like Tyler Allgeier impacts the team? And how much do I feel like he is a valuable asset to the team? Look, valuable asset, as far as team value, this guy has so much value. So much value. This score is way higher if the category is team value. Way up there. Because, like I said just now, you want a running back who's going to go out, especially for your running back 2. You want a running back who's going to go out there and be super consistent, who's going to make plays. Tyler Allgeier does that. Now, that being said, team impact, as far as how much does a team need him, how lost would they be without him, I think that goes down a little bit. I think that's because of who he's backing up. Nobody's sitting there saying that Atlanta needs a new running back 1. And Tyler Allgeier has the capabilities of a running back 1 and just isn't in that role right now. I'm defining impact on how much the team needs him. How much does he matter? And unfortunately, the need is lower. For team impact, I gave Tyler Allgeier a 7.5. That feels low compared to these other grades because I think this is a fantastic player. However, Atlanta does not need him. And if I were an NFL general manager right now, and I needed a running back, I'd be looking at Tyler Allgeier. I would be, because he has everything that you could possibly want in a running back 2 and in a running back 1, if you ask me. He just hasn't had any opportunities besides that first season in Atlanta, where he delivered, by the way, and had a plus 1,000-yard season. So, big deal there. Okay, category number 5, future outlook. I do believe the future is bright for Tyler Allgeier. Now, it all depends on where he goes this season. He hits free agency this season. I think all signs point to he's not getting signed back, which, again, as far as team impact and how much do they need him, I think for both parties that's the right call. Not that I don't love seeing him in Atlanta. I'm not like a huge Atlanta Falcons fan, but I am a huge Tyler Allgeier fan, so I love seeing him there and what he's been doing. However, Atlanta, there was kind of some speculation, I guess. Not really, but kind of some speculation on if they'd franchise tag Kyle Pitts. And they did. And I believe that's the right decision. Kyle Pitts is a baller. He's a great tight end, even though maybe he can't block as well. He's definitely an amazing tight end, and I think that's the right call for them. They want their franchise guy in Kyle Pitts, so I don't blame them for that. But there are several teams who could use an experienced, starting capable running back with less wear and tear on his body because of his downturn in usage. I saw a statistic, it's just over 500 touches on the ball that he's had over his career. And I don't have that statistic in front of me, but he hasn't been used as much as a typical 4-year running back. He does love contact, but I think he's ready to go as far as getting into a running back 1 position. So, in my mind, worst case scenario for Tyler Allgeier is ending up on a team who will use him in the same role, which isn't so bad. He's doing really well in that, and if a team looks to him in that role, then he's going to ball out, he's going to shine. So, I think he's got a bright future. My unfortunate prediction is that he doesn't get picked up by a team who's looking to use him in that running back one position. Even though I think that's the right call, I wouldn't say that's the most likely outcome of this scenario. So for future outlook, I did give Tyler Allgeier an 8.5. And that's, I think, appropriate. I think he's got the potential, but nothing's blowing my socks off. No opportunities really stand out to me. But that is for part 2. In part 2, we're going to be breaking down his top 5 potential landing spots. So if you enjoyed part 1, go ahead and give part 2 a listen. They should be dropping at the same time. As far as Garrison's grade for Tyler Allgeier, I just add up the 5 scores and then average them out. So overall, Tyler Allgeier earns an 8.7, which, I'm the one who made the grades, but I agree with that a lot. 8.7 feels like an accurate representation of his 2025 season as far as a B+ goes. And he's, like I said, got a bright future. And I think depending on where he ends up, which we're going to talk about in part 2, he's got some opportunities to really blow my socks off and up that overall a little bit. So if you enjoyed this episode, give part 2 a listen, and we'll see you guys there. Bye.